The Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, first item is the approval of the warrant.
So moved.
Any questions on the warrant? No. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes 3-0. The meeting minutes from January 20th.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Chair votes aye, 3-0. I have the student report. Welcome. Yeah. Just once. There you go.
Hi, everyone. So basically, I'll start with the seniors. They've just been planning for their prom. They're trying to still figure out some like foods and like chaperoning logistics. And then for the freshmen and juniors, they're also still just trying to plan some new fundraisers. I think the juniors are still talking about their penny fundraiser, and then the freshmen are still planning on some having more in like the springtime. And for the sophomores, their semi-formal dance is planned on March 27th probably, and they're having a Chipotle fundraiser on April 1st, and then a Chick-fil-A fundraiser on March 5th. So please pull up to those if you can. That's it for now. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving along, we have public participation. All right, come on up, 7:03. Thank you. Go home before it gets snowy.
Hello, everyone. Ted Manka, Burlington. I just wanted to start off by saying, I was a little disappointed in the school committee last meeting. The fact, there was a presentation by the administration in terms of the research that they did in terms of the inappropriate song that was done. My ask was always to get a policy in place. There were a couple of things where I thought that the school committee really did fall down. There was a request, or an ask to the school committee if there were any questions or anything that came up. There was no questions, no one asked anything. It kept going back to, well, this was in the curriculum, which was later contradicted by Dr. Conti saying it was not in the curriculum. There was part of it that said, well, it's okay because this happened at the last 2 minutes. So because this is the last 2 minutes, it's okay. Or it's okay because a student suggested it and it's not the responsibility of the teacher to look into it. So I'm just disappointed that, the administration did what the administration does, and that's okay. They did their job, which was to look into it and kind of say, hey, listen, this is why we think it's okay. This is why we are defending ourselves. In my opinion, it's the role of the school committee to be asking those questions and to say, hey, this is why we think that it's not appropriate. Just because it's the last 2 minutes doesn't mean it's okay. If Dr. Chen is saying it's in the curriculum and Dr. Conti is saying it's not in the curriculum, why are we disagreeing with those two? And I think also the fact that we're saying that it was spontaneous. Well, if it's spontaneous, then why were the email trails that we got saying, oh, this teacher does this quite often? It's not spontaneous. It happens all the time. So I guess my push to the school committee is another request to please, let's put in a policy that any sort of outside curriculum, any outside material that comes in is reviewed. It should all be in the curriculum map ahead of time. It's not. I looked through the state, I looked through the federal, it's not there. If I look, when I say it's not there, is there movement? Dancing? Absolutely. I'm okay with that, right? And there are certain things in terms of what they're saying should be in there for the music. Some of the lyrics that were in there are totally inappropriate. They shouldn't have been in there. And the fact that the school committee was okay with the excuses that the administration gave was very disappointing. Very disappointing. And I'm upset that no one questioned it, no one pushed back, no one said, oh, Dr. Chen, you said that it is in the curriculum. Dr. Conti, you said that it's not in the curriculum.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm here to discuss a security concern I raised 4 months ago that has still not been addressed. Doors being propped open at MSMS and across the district with no written policy in place. 4 months ago, I was here with photographic evidence of a door propped open on October 3rd. I met with Mr. McMahon, who acknowledged that there was no policy addressing this issue. He directed me to contact BEA Union President Sean Musselman to discuss creating one. I did that, and for months, I received delayed responses, self-investigations that found that there were no problems, explanations that protocols and expectations were sufficient, and when I asked where the written policy was, I received no answer. It's now been 4 months, and there is still no written policy on doors being propped open. Let me be clear about what the actual problem is. School doors being propped open without faculty supervision is a security concern. Modern school safety standards don't allow for brief security gaps. An unmonitored door is a compromised door, regardless of the task being performed. According to SDC Security, writing in Door Security and Safety magazine, it doesn't matter if there are mechanical locks or sophisticated lockdown systems on classroom doors. If the door is propped open, students are vulnerable. An active shooter has never breached a locked classroom door in any recorded school security incident. Massachusetts Regulation 740 CMR 30.15 makes any person using a secured door strictly responsible to lock it immediately and prevent unauthorized access. This means district staff have a legal obligation to secure doors, yet this district has no written policy informing of this requirement or establishing consequences for violations. Don't prop open secure doors is the most basic security protocol that exists. This isn't complex or ambiguous. As a student at MSMS, I see prop doors multiple times a year. That number should be 0. The school committee has the authority to create and enforce a district-wide policy on this issue. You don't need union approval, you don't need more discussions, you need to act. What I'm asking for is simple. A written, enforceable policy, district-wide policy on doors being propped open, not expectations, not protocols, nothing that isn't being followed currently. An actual policy with clear consequences for violations. This is a basic safety. It should not require 4 months of back and forth, multiple emails to administration and leadership to get addressed. The fact that it does raises serious questions about how this district prioritizes student safety and responds to legitimate concerns. I am requesting that this committee draft and publicly present a district-wide policy on prop doors within the next 30 days with a clear timeline for implementation. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have anyone on the phone?
No,
Okay. All right, keep moving. Do you have any subcommittee reports?
Yes.
Is your mic on? Yeah.
Sure. It's one of my favorite subjects to talk about. Marsh Simon's field, lots of movement. Conservation approved the notice of intent about 3 weeks ago. Planning board this week approved the plan. We are anticipating, barring any admin issues, going out to bid hopefully next week. There'll be a 3-week bidding period, and then we should be able to down select a contractor. We'll have another field committee meeting and then bring it to this committee for final approval. So happy to report we're seeing a lot of positive movement, and again, barring any major admin challenges, we should be able to meet schedule and break ground early spring as soon as the thaw happens.
Awesome. Any good hands? On transportation, subcommittee related, but I know we had some complaints about the Memorial morning drop-off, and we had the principal directing traffic. But we did meet with Safe Routes to School and the police department, and I believe as of yesterday, or the day before, we do have a BPD officer there now directing traffic. So I've heard some positive reports out of that. So thanks for the parents for raising that, and hopefully continues to go smoothly with that. Anyone else in subcommittee? I have 2 Ways and Means.
Thank you, Madam Chair. At this time, we're awaiting a presentation on April 8th from the school. Otherwise, Ways and Means has nothing to report.
Awesome. Any other announcements? No. All right. So there's like 8 or 9 votes listed on the agenda. I don't think we need a vote on policies that aren't going to students. So Dr. Chen is going to introduce those, but just so we can move through, we only need votes on what's going to students, and I can clarify which ones are going to students. I know Dr. Conti said he would try to join. Do you want to present the calendar one more time, or do you want me to do it?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, I'll try to present the calendar as briefly as possible. Dr. Chen will correct anything that I misspeak about. So essentially, we have the calendar that you've already seen, which is the first day for, let me just step back. I think it's the school committee's responsibility to sort of pick the best 180 days between whenever school starts and June 30th. And those days where there's school and those days where there's not school can differ depending on lots of different reasons and factors. So the story I have told for years, which everyone has heard, is when I was working in Wisconsin, the first day of deer hunting season was a day where there was no school because local values, there were lots of student absenteeism, adult absenteeism. So the school committee there, the school board there has decided not to have students and teachers in school that day. So this isn't purely a religious conversation. It's really about picking the best 180 days for Burlington. So the calendar that you have in front of you has a start date for grades 1 through 12 of August 31st. First day for pre-KK being September 8th, the Tuesday after Labor Day. We did combine all parent conferences to the election day, which is the midterms, which is going to be November 3rd, is the day that we suggested. We moved to Professional Development Day, given the work with teachers and feedback, to the Monday after winter break, which is going to be January 4th. So again, students would get an extra winter break day. They would start back again on Tuesday, the 5th. The day that is in question that we are presenting to you that we would like to have school is Good Friday. Again, I think it's important that we present a secular calendar, that we have school on Good Friday, and that gets us the last day of school then, if we have school on Good Friday, I believe is going to be Wednesday, June 16th without any snow days, and Wednesday, June 23rd, building in the 5 days, or the 20, it would be, what would it be? It would be 1, potentially 2, 3, 4, 5. So it would be June 24th, Thursday, if we use all 5 snow days. So again, asking the committee to adopt a calendar, which again is most important for families for the start date and the vacations and the end date. I think what we've always discussed and what the committee has always discussed is whether we have school on Good Friday. If we don't have school on Good Friday, then we just extend the year. We just extend the year one day. And if we do have school, then again, the school year is shortened 1 day, but that would be sort of a values conversation. It was asked last meeting if we abbreviated the day in some way. Would more teachers work on that day because they could do their religious observances in the afternoon? With the help of the BEA, a survey was sent to teachers regarding 2 variations of Good Friday. A half day, which would be very similar to the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, which is a true sort of half day. An early release day, which is 90 minutes shorter than the full day, was also presented. And then I think a full school day on the on that Friday. So the committee's sort of decision today is whether to have school on Good Friday or some abbreviated version of a school day. Again, the impact on the calendar really is the last day of school, not the opening and not the other things that we've already incorporated changes into. So that's really the conversation and the vote that I'd like to see.
Thank you.
Okay, since we only have one option, I guess we could get a move to approve draft 3 of the calendar.
You don't plan to second it?
No.
Okay.
I have a couple questions. Dr. Conti, does the Juneteenth, did we ever decide how that observance would work? I know there was discussion at the last meeting about whether or not we would need to have that observed that day on the Friday. Monday how did that observance come out?
Mrs. Wojcik, I'm sorry, I'm navigating here. We've gotten mixed answers, but I'm going to hold to, I think if the date's on a Saturday, I believe we would have to at least bargain with some of our units about the Friday before. So that was my understanding. Mr. Cuna, we looked into our ASME units, and that language does exist in some of the contracts. I just want to make sure I'm speaking correctly.
Through the chair. So again, I agree with Dr. Conti. It is addressed in some of our AFSCME contracts. A conversation from myself to those units has not fully happened, so I don't have a definitive answer that says that they're willing to navigate away from that plan, but in previous instances, that's how we have observed it. So again, if the committee were to pursue it, then I would have to pursue, further conversations.
Through the chair, are we required to observe that day? What does the state say? Outside of the contract, what does the state say?
Again, I think we can have school that day from the colleagues that I've spoken with, but again, I think it would take some bargaining in order to make that happen.
Okay. And so the calendar as presented, we have the 26th as an early release day. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that's Good Friday, right?
Yes.
Okay. So it's an early release day, not a half day, right?
As presented, yes.
Dr. Conti?
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, that's what we had discussed as a school option.
Okay. So are we concerned that the other unions will be present on these days? I'm thinking when we talk about the BEA, are we also talking about the paraprofessionals that support students? Were they consulted, or is this just the teachers union? Were they part of this process?
Again, Mr. Wojcik, I think the survey only went out to BEA members. It went out from the BEA. So that's my assumption. I did not speak directly to The instructional assistants, in the instructional assistants contract, it says that they'll be present when the students are present. And of course, they would have the opportunity for religious observance as stated in their contract as well.
Okay, so their religious observances work differently than the religious observances of the teachers' union. That's correct?
Yeah, yes.
Thank you.
Would you like to make an alternate motion?
No, not at this time.
So you just don't want to vote on a calendar?
I had questions, so
Okay.
I didn't want to.
So you're not prepared to vote on this calendar today?
Now that my questions have been answered, yeah, I'm prepared to vote on it, as long as we are looking at an early release day and not a half day. I still have concerns to make sure that we have enough teachers and paraprofessionals, our cafeteria staff. That's something that's still open and up for discussion. I just want to make sure that we have a quality day of school ahead of us and not, a day that's like a throwaway, which I think these half days really are. It's not time on learning. It's days that students who receive services are not receiving services because there isn't enough time in the day, and that's left on teachers, especially special education teachers, to make up that time. And it can make it very difficult. There's never enough time in the day. And I want to make sure that we are delivering the services that every student needs to succeed. And that is the purpose of my questioning.
Okay, so as presented, Good Friday is the early release, in which students receive services and lunch. Do you want changes to this calendar?
So long as we feel that that everyone that is needed to support all of our students will show up. That's my concern.
I think both the BEA and Dr. Conti are saying that they feel that they can staff to this calendar. Is that correct, Dr. Conti?
Yes, but again, what happened, I think 2 or 3 years ago or right before COVID, I don't know the exact year, is if we are flooded with religious leaves and don't feel like we can run a successful day or a safe school day, then it's always the possibility for us to call school that day. Again, it wouldn't be for snow. For this case, it would just be for not enough staff to run the day, and then we would extend the day a year at the end, similar to a snow day. So I think the early release day is the option that gets us back to a full day of school on Good Friday, possibly, and just allows us to present a secular calendar. We can try it this year. If it does not work out, then again, I think that would be an important piece of information moving forward. But this is sort of the one day of the calendar where there's that would be a change from prior calendars. Again, in the past, the committee has always said no school on Good Friday. So this would allow us to get a school day in March as opposed to adding a day in June. And so, Ms. Dvorak, I certainly hear your concerns about making sure we're delivering services, especially to our most vulnerable learners. But I do think that can occur more effectively in March than it would occur towards the end of June. And I think the early release is sort of the best compromise that we could come up with.
Thank you, Dr. Conti. I really hope that you're right. I'm looking forward to giving this a try and seeing what the data shows, how many educators are present. I want everyone to be able to, observe, make, and, engage in any religious observance that they feel that they should and need to. And I don't want to put any pressure on someone to come to school if they feel that they should not be in school or at work. So, I am prepared to vote on this, but I just am really hopeful that this works.
Thank you. Do you want to second the motion?
So point of order, we have the motion on the floor. We didn't do anything, so we either got to redo it, or again, we had all the discussion before we had the motion. So I will remake the motion, I guess, to approve draft 3 as presented.
Second.
Any more questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes. So for those of you at home, the first day of school for 1st through 12th is August 31st, 2026. First day for kindergarten will be September 8th, 2026. Puts us at a last day of June 16th if we get no snow next year, and I'm hopeful we got it all this year and none next year. And this will go up on the website soon. All right, thank you. All right. All right, so this first one, Navient Self-Discovery Tools, this is for students and we'll need a vote.
Yes, but before, I just want to go over the survey so that folks understand what this survey is. This is under our new regulations of MyCap and what it does. First of all, I want to make sure that people know that this is not an anonymous survey. It is not anonymous, but these are the questions. It will be given to grades 8 through 11, and the whole goal is to take this survey to find the interests that match that of the interest of the faculty member. These 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade students, that's why it's given to 8th through 11th, will stay with this faculty member throughout their high school career to work on academic planning and career goals. That's the whole purpose of this survey, to provide a match. And for those parents who do not wish to have their children take this survey, we will just make sure that we call them and ask on their child's behalf to provide information so that we can best match their child with the faculty member. And here you see the list of questions. And then should this pass by you guys, the list of questions will also be posted on the website, and we'll follow the policy of the opt-out. Do you have any questions about this survey?
So just a couple. So the MyCap is a local program we're running. It is not state mandated, correct?
No, we have to have guidelines now that they're put in regulations that even in 8th grade, for instance, we have to have our students have a career and academic plan process. So this is something that we have to do.
Okay, because when I looked it up, it didn't say that it was state mandated, but I did have some questions around the surveys. They seemed very binned as, kind of only giving you 2 choices to fall into different things. So I just wanted to understand the methodology a little bit better before we commit to spending, because I think I do question some of these times too. 15 minutes for a 108 question survey. That seems a little
No, this
short.
is not, this question, if you're looking at for the first is I'm sorry, this is my fault. I want to go through the
We're on the
Naviance.
discovery tools.
Yeah, this is completely my fault. All right, so let me back up. And I was looking at the wrong page, and I apologize. All right, so for the Naviance self-discovery tools, when you see in front of you guys are a series of surveys. And these surveys, just so that you know, is through the counseling department. And the whole game plan of this is to help make sure they'll be given to students in grades 9 through 12, allowing them the opportunity to explore resources if they choose. And so each of these surveys, for instance, the game plan takes about 2 to 3 minutes. And then the Career Cluster Finder would be introduced to grade 9 and 10 students in spring 2026. There are about 108 questions, but estimated length is 15 minutes. There's a Career Interest Profiler, which is 60 questions. Estimated length is 15 minutes. It is introduced to 9th and 10th grade students. Achieve Works Personality number of questions is 36. Estimated length is 15 minutes. And this will be introduced to grade 9 and 10 students in the spring of 2026. And the purpose, again, of these particular surveys is just to really help our students find their career paths. And if students do not wish to take these surveys, they do not have to take these surveys. And it will be given at a time for students. They will find the time it's usually during their flex block in which they will take this survey. And again, this survey is to be given to students with counselors to help them in post-secondary planning.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily, pushing back on the intent, right? I just, as I look through the surveys, a lot of them had, hey, do you fall into these two categories? So I'm trying to understand the methodology, because if it's looking to help a student find their path in life, having two, like essentially a binary choice of I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that, or I fall into these two very narrow bins, it doesn't seem like it's a very effective assessment tool. So I just want to, I'm not saying it's not going to work, but I just need a little more context, because as I read through the questions, it didn't seem like it would get to the intent of what the survey wants to do. So
I think if you were to take a look at, if you wanted to take a look at I did not print for you the survey results, but if you were to click on the survey results, they're very personalized for every single child. If you look through every single survey results, I provided you also with survey results. It basically says, hi, you're interested in this, you could possibly do this, your personality matches this. And so it is just a series of survey questions. As you go down deeper and deeper, it digs down deeper and deeper and deeper. And so the first one really is just to get a sample of really, like, what two career clusters are you interested in? Are you interested in this? Are you interested in that? And then from that game plan, it allows you to go deeper into the next series of surveys, because that's just the first one. It's a simple one, just saying, hey, are you thinking about college? Are you thinking about military? Are you thinking about working, and then really the other one is just to find out, well, out of all of these, that you have decided to choose from, is your choice to be education training or manufacturing? And then throughout this time, it gives you many, many choices, and then it keeps on digging even deeper when it gets to your career cluster finder. That takes then about 15 minutes. And that one, they can define their career clusters. They have to answer whether they like or dislike the following task. So it goes deeper each time. They don't want to inundate and kind of too much all at one time. So they kind of do broad, and then they kind of drill down with every single assessment that they go into. And again, this is if the student doesn't want to do it, then they don't have to do it. We used to have Naviance long time ago. We just decided to opt to use something else, and we have found that the Naviance reports are much better. And so then we're actually going back to Naviance. We've used a very similar report like this in the past. They've done this for years in the high school. It's just with our new policy, I'm just sharing everything with you guys now. So this has been going on now for a while in the high school. Our school counselors give these types of assessments to our students just to find out what their career and college plans are.
Okay.
Lisa, can I chime in real quick?
Yes, please do.
Joe Lonato, how are you? I just wanted to say too, these assessments, whatever you know.
Oh, hold on, Joe. I think Bob muted you.
He's muted himself.
Now can you unmute yourself?
Yep, I jumped over to my laptop. Sorry, I was on my phone. So it's really, with these, you have to understand too, this isn't something that's going to give them the exact answer, right? We're not trying to, we want students to go through this process to explore and understand what the options are. And Naviance allows students to go through this, and then it provides them with different types of careers. And students can also do career research on, thousands of different types of careers, and they can narrow it down based on interests. Or they don't have to narrow it down. They could look at as much as they want. And in addition to the career stuff, they can really kind of hone in on, again, part of this too is the college piece and the college major and those types of things. And so we did use Naviance for several years, and we moved away from them for the past 3 years, but we're moving back to them because they really do have more assessment tools like for students as well. And the 15 minutes, just know that's an average. It's not necessarily going to, it's not, just so you know, it's not timed. So a student can certainly take as much time as they'd like on these assessments as well. And, you know, they could, and then, you know, certainly student speaks a different language. Student may have difficulty maybe with some reading comprehension. They may need support with some of these things as well. So just know that the 15 minutes is more of an average.
Yeah, Roger, I do question 108 questions at 7.2 seconds a question in 15 minutes. So I'm pretty fast reader. I feel like I'm pretty good. I just don't know if that's an accurate time assessment. Neither here nor there. I just had some questions is all.
Yep, and if you want access to any, you know, again, parents will have access to this, just so everyone knows. And so actually, students have access to the program now, but these are all shut off. But students, parents, school committee can certainly access this information as well. And if you wanted to take a closer look, let me know.
No, I'm good. Like I said, I just had some questions around the methodology. Like I said, just some of the choices as I went through the skills works, the career path. It just kind of binned them very narrowly. So I didn't really understand how it's going to get all the way to helping a student kind of, these are what my aptitudes and abilities are, right? My skills and abilities. So I just wanted a little more flavor on that is all.
Yeah, no. Good question. Again, part of the intent too is we don't want it to be a race for students, so we want them to think about the questions. But if you went through the actual program, what we did is literally copy and pasted the questions.
Yeah.
The program itself, as you're answering the questions, it does move along because you'll click agree, disagree, or like, dislike, and it kind of moves quickly in that sense. But again, if anyone wants to experience it for themselves, just let me know.
Through the chair, it sounds like it's an intuitive survey. Is that correct?
I wouldn't, honestly, I don't really consider it a survey. I think it's more of like an assessment tool than a survey, to be honest with you. And it is, I guess it's scripted. It's not, it's intuitive to some extent, but it is scripted in that the questions are scripted, and then it gives a nice report. Each of the programs provides students with a nice detailed report. And again, this stuff, and I try to reiterate this as much as possible, it's not always set in stone. This isn't going to give you your pathway in life. Well, it may potentially, but it's going to give students information so we can start to have the discussions about what's happening after high school. And so that's kind of why this process plays into MyCap, because students are collecting these assessments along the way and kind of building a little bit of a portfolio. So, you know, as they progress through high school, upon graduation, they have this great information that they can refer to and use as they start to make those decisions.
Hey, Bob, can you do us a favor? You see that on my Naviance report, that on it, I think, and this is my fault, we just put the survey up here, but if you hit on any one of these results, if you hit the results, like it will come up, like how personally it is. I don't know if you could show the school committee.
Through the chair, I read through the sample report. I thought it was great. I thought it was, you know.
Yeah, the results really say a lot more. It's very personal about the kid.
Definitely.
It takes all the interest, and it says, and it's very like kid-friendly,
Yeah,
is what I think it
The
is.
language is great.
And one of the
I think it gives
things
students an opportunity
we like
to
about it is
reflect
it
on their
talks to,
learning.
it can, if we set it up, it can talk to Aspen. And so students can put their, you know, they can see their courses as well and build a plan that way. Sorry if I cut someone off.
No, it's not. And then the other, that's what the 1, 2, 3, 4, the first all the way up to, it goes game plan and then career cluster finder, career interest profiler, and achievement works personality. Those, if approved, and again, all students in the past, and I asked Mr. Abato this, no one has ever opted out of this. Students have taken this and found this to be very helpful. And then the next series of ones that are like Achievement Works Intelligence, Strength Explore, achievement works learning and productivity, achieve work skills, those are going to be, they're seeking the approval of the first page, and then these are going to be sometime much later in the spring, and also available for students if they wish to either have some conferences one-on-one with the results with with Joe and his team, and also at the same time, students can take some of this at home as well too. And so our goal was to showcase what is going to be for the entire year, and we wanted to get it in your hands and to get the approval of either a yes or a no, so that Joe and his team could start planning for this, because Naviance, again, it's been introduced to our kids, but because of our school committee policy, we didn't want to roll this out until we got your blessing. And then this way we can start giving it and introducing it to our grade 8 students, who will be our incoming freshmen for 9, 10, and then 11, which will be the 12th grade, so that we can start talking to them about this. And then Joe, then once you guys say the okay to it, what will end up happening is we'll post this on our website. We'll go through the process of the 15 days. We'll do the opt-out. People will have a choice. But we're hoping that people see that this is really a survey to help their kids.
I'll make a motion to approve the Naviance self-discovery survey tools as presented.
So we have to, per the policy, we have to say whether it's an opt-in or opt-out.
It would be an opt survey, yeah.
Second.
Any more questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Chair votes aye, 3-0. Good luck, Joe and Lisa.
Thank you so much, everyone. Again, if anyone has further questions, please reach out to me directly.
No, thanks for the additional context to help me out.
No problem.
Thank you, Mr. Abato. That's because you're the man. Thank you for helping.
Thank you, and it's Adebato, Lisa.
Sorry. Oh, my God.
Let's read your survey results, Joe.
Thank you.
Don't
We'll see you.
leave yet, Joe. Yeah. All right.
What's that?
Stay on, because we're doing this is also guidance related, right?
Well, it's also related to, and Joe, you can help answer some questions to follow up, but it is related to the other one that I wanted to talk to folks about. It is the Help Us Build Your Crew, and it's part of the MyCap. It's the work that Shannon and Shireen have been doing. And this before you really is, this one, we will need your vote, but the other one is more informational for you. It's the same kind of like similar one in which the faculty members would also be taking. But this one, again, what I want to let people know, it's a personalized survey this spring. It would be given to students in grades 8 through 11. So it's not anonymous, and this survey is used for individual matching. And the reason for this is they want to have like all of the faculty members at the high school match up with kids based on what it is specifically they like to do. And this is, they're going to stay with them for their 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade year, which I think is a really great thing. It's almost like an advisory. You get to work with that staff member, and you're going to work on academic planning and your career goals, because in the end, you have to develop what's called a portrait of a graduate, and this is to really help the students feel very comfortable with their advisors, and at the same time help to do the academic planning, because what we've learned right now is sometimes our 11th and 12th graders have a hard time just understanding what type of internships that they want to do. So we want to get started on this with them, starting in 9th, 10th, and 11th grade, just by getting this interest survey out. Did I miss anything, Mr. Atobato?
No, we have one of our counselors that we hired. She's been on a couple years, did this process at Danvers High School with a kind of a new look on the primary person model, and we're excited about it.
No, I think I wish I had one of these, right? I think this looks really personalized, and so we don't need to approve, but the teachers get a similar questionnaire.
The teachers,
and
the teachers
get
is,
matched up.
so I just wanted to show you how it matches up.
Yeah, no, appreciate it.
And then for those because this is not anonymous.
Yep.
For those parents who feel uncomfortable, because this will be posted, one of the counselors will just call and ask the parent the answers to the questions. If the parent chooses not to answer, well then, based on what we know about the student, we will try our best to match them up with a faculty member, but it really is just to, have a connection with the student with a faculty member on similar interest.
Through the chair, I love the way the questions are worded. I think it speaks like, students speak to one another. It's their language. It's something, the questions are great and very reflective of how they're learning, where they feel successful, and, where they may feel they need more support. And I think that's really helps make the best out of this opportunity for internships and really having that, that support from a trusted faculty member. So I'll make a motion to approve the Student Interest Forum, Help Us Build Your Crew, for that's the student-facing version as an opt-out survey.
I'll second. I did have one question, though.
Yes, sir?
So on the choose your top 3 for interests, or, really some of these, if there's a group that feels underrepresented, what's the feedback loop for them to add a different, kind of flavor of, mentor to mentee relationship?
I think they're going to try their best to match, but that's something actually I can bring back. I think that these are ones in which they had already done kind of some backward work on it, because I think that that Shireen has worked really closely in finding out what some of the interest is. And so this is working backwards on things that didn't work out that they wanted to improve. And so she really has had a handle on this of seeing what the kids have liked. But it's something that I can bring back that maybe we can also put an other on here, but I think it might open it too big. But I think if a child does not feel comfortable, they're going to try and match them to the best of their ability. Sure. And then I think that I would hope that the student could, help the faculty member know that, and perhaps we can just cross that bridge when we get to it. But it's a great question.
Thank you.
You good?
That's it.
Yeah. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, chair votes aye. Opposed? All right, that one passes as well. Okay, so faculty, just FYI, student grading policy feedback form.
So the first one that's in your packet is actually the family. That doesn't really need an approval or a vote from you, but I just wanted you at least to see that there's going to be the same feedback form, because as the grading policy was developed at the high school, really the leadership team there wanted to get feedback from the families, they wanted to get feedback from the staff, and then lastly they wanted to get feedback from the students, so they could have 3 different viewpoints as to what's working well in the BHS grading policy and areas that they need to improve on. So what's in your packet for the family feedback form questions are the questions that are going to be asked to the families. In essence, the parents, right? The other one that is more informational, these 2 are informational, are the questions that are going to be asked for staff, because families could feel one way, staff could feel another way, and students could feel another way. But this is impacting students, so we need to take a look at whether or not it is really helping all those parties, but mostly the kids, right? And then lastly, the one that will need your approval, that is going to be sent to students, is that, once it's approved, is that they're going to be asking, and again, this is anonymous, and really just wanting to make sure that students understand what each of the grading categories mean, that this is helping them as a learner, that's helping to improve their skills, that they're learning to make mistakes, having time for reflections, learning their habits, and then just learning from the students themselves. And I think that this is a really great tool to hear from, again, families, parents, to hear from staff members, and to hear from students themselves, whether or not the BHS grading policy is doing what it's set out to do, and how do we continue to improve it.
Through the chair, the results are anonymous, right? Each one of these
Yes.
are anonymous surveys.
Yes.
Okay. And they're not tracked to students, families?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely, it's anonymous, but I think it's important, at least the one criteria is we needed to know whether or not it was 9th grade, 10th grade. So let's say in the 10th grade, it's going great, but maybe in the 9th grade, it's not going as great. Could it be, for instance, it wasn't introduced to them, whereas the 10th, 11th, and 12th grade have had some reiterations of this. So at least understanding what trends are with the 9th grade parents, 10th grade parents, 11th and 12th grade parents. That's the only way but these are big themes, right? And we will not know who the individuals are.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve BHS school-wide grading policy student feedback form questions as an opt-out.
Second.
This one is just not even opt-out, right? You get it and you don't take it if you don't want it. Take it?
We're gonna still,
Out, yeah. But if you don't take it, you don't take it.
you don't take it, but if people want to opt out, we're just gonna follow whatever you told us that we have to follow.
Through the chair will be sent to that student.
I gotcha, yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
they just will not
I mean,
take it.
all of the above. If the student doesn't want to do it, they do not have to. None of these are required.
Yes,
I guess.
they are not required, they should not be required, and it should not be sent to them.
So even if you aren't opted out, if you don't want to do it, you don't take it.
Right. You can even say, I don't want to take it, no one's going to force you to take it.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. All right, 3-0 for the grading policy.
All right.
All right.
The next
Survey-
one.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yes, and the next one is called the high school survey questions for the grants. And the reason for these survey questions is that this is again going to be through Thought Exchange. It's going to be anonymous. It's going to be given to students for grades 8 through 12. And it's part of our being recipients of Part B for the early college and also CTE grants. This is part of the application process. But it will also help us gain a deeper understanding of the future interest of where our kids and where they would like to go in the future. And this will be collected as part of the information for, again, applying for our early college and CTE grant applications, are part of Part B applications that Shireen Tyrell and a group of us are working on. Because they do ask for these results as part of the grant.
I'll make a motion to approve high school survey questions for grants as an opt-out.
Second, I did have one question on there. So I think this was the one that is administered by Gallup, so I have some data privacy concerns. We're not sharing the data with anyone. It's not being released to others. We're just sharing results, right?
We have to share results. It's going to go to the
Correct.
state.
Results, but not like raw data or anything.
No raw data, just the summary of our findings. To help,
On national polling,
no,
just
it's,
getting into our students and data, whatever, like, or the raw data, right? So the results is one thing because it satisfies the grant, but I just want to make sure there's a clear separation there.
Through the chair, if it's being administered through Thought Exchange, then how does Gallup interact with
I don't-
Thought Exchange?
I'm not
One of
too,
them was specifically referenced, it is administered by Gallup, so I just wanted to make sure that
I don't think it's this one.
might have been, but
one.
regardless, it still applies to what we're talking about right now, so I just wanted to make sure there is some separation between that.
Oh, yeah, in the back of it says, the following survey will be provided to students anonymously on Thought Exchange. The survey will be given to all students 8 through 12, designed, yeah. So I don't think, not that it's not a great question.
Yeah.
I just don't know that it applies here.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Opposed? 3-0. All right. CKLA is just informative, right? This is going to
yes,
families.
this is not to vote, but because one of the things that we talked about, and I'm so grateful again for this school committee and also to the town for funding, helping to move along the CKLA and with the implementation and providing us with the time to learn that. One of the things that we said that we were going to do is also to give a survey out to the parents to learn from them, is this helping with the reading? And also to ask some literacy questions as well, too. Because we do give out DIBELS 8 reports and iReady report. I just wanted to make sure that parents were understanding the purpose of those reports, and if there are any questions, what can we do to help improve reading, overall literacy? What are their thoughts on writing? And just to learn from parents. And so that's really the purpose. It's really a literacy kind of, and also a CKLA, and just really want to know how to support reading and writing. And this is more just informational than anything else.
Motion to approve CKLA.
You don't need to approve it.
No? Okay, well.
Any question? Yeah, sorry.
And I will share the results with
Yeah,
everyone.
that was just an error on the agenda. It's
Okay,
not
well, through the chair, I think it's great that you have so many options for families to just comment and share their thoughts, and it's, it's not all strongly agree, disagree, strongly disagree. There's many options to really, for families to share their feedback and give us a lot of information.
Megan, I was thinking about you because I know how important, no, just in general, how important, like the Dibbles 8 and iReady, and because we may know more about it, it may mean that someone else might not know. And so those Dibbles 8 is very important, so is iReady. So if parents don't know, we need to do a better job of explaining, please let us know. We want to do that.
Thank you, Dr. Chen, I appreciate that as a parent, and just, I think it is very important for families to understand the data, and I think you've made a great effort to help families understand that, and I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next. May we move on next? All right, this is BPS Thrives. And so, yes, I like BPS Thrives, so yes. All right. So before we begin, and moving on to the presentation itself, I want to highlight really the amazing work of the BPS teams are accomplishing this month. And this information can also be found on our website. And I want to say that the reason why we do this every month is that you can see what each of our departments are doing, how it impacts students, and also how we're making progress on our strategic plan. So it really is just another way to show accountability and just to know what's going on in the district. Business and finance team streamlined the process and budget fiscal 27 and upcoming warrant articles with digital learning, computer science, library, communication, information technology teams. The 6th, 7th, and 8th graders have completed a common sense media digital citizenship lesson in the Library Learning Commons with Mrs. Floyd. I want to congratulate BHS senior Gio Delgado, who finished in the Elite 8 for the National Championship of Madden Football and the esports competition. That is a huge accomplishment. Thank you to Coach Nolan Hart, Coach Leroy Wong, and Director of Technology, Dennis Villano. The English K through 8 team, they were involved and planned and co-hosted the See It, Try It, Learn It K through 5 Family Curriculum Night on January 29th. Dr. Bonnie Nichols is also in the process of planning the MS Middle School English Pilot Information Night. That is going to be held for parents who want to know about the 2 possible curriculums for the middle school next year for literacy. That will be on Thursday, February 26th from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. in the middle school auditorium. And we're looking at Common Lit 360 and also EL. And again, for those middle school parents, if you want to know about the literacy curriculum, the top 2 contenders, we'll be looking on Thursday, February 26th from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Human resource team beginning the I-9 audit and provided training for staff responsible for maintaining forms, working with the athletic director to enhance training and compliance for coaches and volunteers. The math K through 5 team helped prepare for curriculum night and weekly grade level curriculum meetings, prepared for the middle of the year data meetings. The mental health team assisted in facilitating the school climate survey, facilitated the MTSS task force on student behavior and attendance. And I want to give a big shout out to Director of Mental Health, Christine Concession. She was awarded the Massachusetts School Counseling Association 2026 Leadership Award. There's only one award given to one school counselor across the state. Congratulations to Miss Christine Concession for all that you do. Nursing team, planning for multiple field trips in the elementary schools, continue to work on updating procedures to coincide with updated school policy. And the middle school is doing state mandated screenings right now, the nurses. Operations team, custodians cleared close to 2 feet of snow from walkways and entrances. Thank you to our custodians. And also to the town for their assistance. Worked on warrant grant articles, requests for school committee and town meeting. The student information office team began kindergarten registration process starting with Francis Wyman and Pine Glen. Trained new BHS clerical staff on the Aspen features. And now for our slides. In slide 1, thanks to the BE Burlington Education Foundation for the experiencing on the STAR Labs for our students in December. Students were using SKY models in grades 1 and 2 to support the CKLA knowledge curriculum. A big thanks to Sean Musselman and the planning of this curriculum and hosting of these labs at all 4 elementary schools. If you haven't had the opportunity, you actually crawl underneath. There's a small hole under there. You crawl underneath. You see this wonderful dome. And I had the opportunity, and you get to hear Sean Musselman narrate what's up on the sky, and the kids love it. It's wonderful. So thank you for the BEF for that, for giving us that. In slide 2, next, continual work with the Massachusetts Dyslexia Institute. Here you see directors Christina Ciccolini and Bonnie Nichols with administrators and team chairs learning more about dyslexia. And next, slide 3, a big thanks to members of the district wellness team comprised of representatives, parents, Dan Hannafin in the back, thank you very much. Community members, health organization, doctors, students, staff, nurses, directors such as Gloria Watasek, Director of Food Services, Carrie Noki, Assistant Principal, Darrell Braggs, Kevin McDonough, and school committee members Megan Novacek and Melissa Maserato for all of their hard work in revising the wellness policy and in looking at the 2023 Comprehensive Health and Physical Education Standards. And a big thank you to Amy Doty, as well as who is the Director of the Health and Physical Education. In the next slide, here we have the Director of the English Learner Education, Carrie Lamprey, and LPAC. A big thanks to our resource officers, Dominic Colicchio and Dan Murphy, for their explanation on safety and our procedures at BPS. Families were extremely grateful for these presentations. And thank you to all. This is Wendy Pavlicek, school committee members Jeremy Brooks, Melissa Maserato, and Megan Novacek, and Dr. Eric Conti for the participation in the Civics Expo, informing community members about CKLA, the district strategic plan, and preschool programming. Thank you for your time. In the next slide, Burlington hosted the Dignity Index for Massachusetts superintendents, assistant superintendents, administrators, school counselors, and teacher leaders across the state of Massachusetts for a Train the Trainer model for the Dignity Index. The Dignity Index is an 8-point tool created by Unite that scores language from number 1, contempt, to 8, dignity, to reduce divisiveness and prevent violence. It helps individuals identify and replace dehumanizing language with respectful, constructive communication, focusing on behavior rather than the person. Training is offered to certified leaders in applying this tool. A great big thanks to teachers and the elementary instructional team, Carrie Fortunato, Sean Musselman, Wendy Pavlicek, Renee Sacco, Dr. Bonnie Nichols, directors Christine Conceition, Gloria Watasik, and Carrie Noki for organizing and planning the first annual Family Night Sharing Elementary Curriculum. In the next slide, Burlington was a spotlight presenter at the Digital Literacy and Computer Science Leadership meeting focused on AI. And again, want to congratulate Shireen Tyrell. She was noted by DESE, which is the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, as a spotlight highlighter. They wrote back saying that we greatly appreciate how clearly you articulated the Academy as an open, scalable alternative to traditional internships designed to bring companies and real-world AI projects directly to students. Your presentation, and this was Shereen Tyrell, highlighted a thoughtful model in which students engage in hands-on data science and AI learning through mentor-leader projects while being supported by licensed educators, college interns, and industry professionals. And they have asked, the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education has asked Shereen Tyrell to please write a playbook for artificial intelligence of our summer curriculum program that she has hosted so that other districts can emulate what we have done. Congratulations again to Shereen Tyrell. In the next slide, state mandated access testing. This is with English language learner team, Director Carrie Lamprey, for all English learners and nearing completion. A big thank you to Karen Kim for coordinating this effort, and to all of our dedicated staff administering the assessments. And also to Director Gloria Watasek, who attended the 3rd Annual Civic Expo, engaging with town departments and community partners. Next, in slide 7, again, Director Gloria Watasek presented at the MS faculty meeting in collaboration with Principal McMahon, working on the development of a professional development series focused on family engagement, parent square use, and strategies for effectively reaching families. Ms. Castro's newcomers, adult ESL. Families shared very positive feedback about Parent Square, noting that the platform helps them feel more connected to school and supported through consistent communication and teacher outreach. And next, in slide 8, thank you to the director of the Science Center and members again of the elementary instructional team, to directors Gloria Watasek and Carrie Noak for planning the family curriculum night on Thursday, January 29th. A really big shout out to Carrie Fortunato, as this was her brainchild when it started out with math. The Science Center participated in the K-5 curriculum night event designed to engage students, families, educators in sharing learning experiences. And over 200 students and families had signed up for this event. And BHS student volunteers shared information about live animals, and other activities included the bean gardens, the AR sandbox, the North American floor maps, and the SNAP circuits. And want to thank also our 3 school committee members who are with us tonight for their visiting this event. Thank you very much. And then finally, in our final slide, again, many thanks for those who participated, to our staff, including our math specialist who assisted. And again, a really big shout out to Shereen Tyrell, the director of Career Pathways, who was chosen as a spotlight speaker for the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, highlighting our Summer Career Academy in Artificial Intelligence. To Christine Concession, who was awarded by the Massachusetts School Counseling Association, MASCA, for the 2026 Leadership Award, and also to Dr. Eric Conti, who could not be with us tonight, but he is representing all of the superintendents across the United States. He sits on the executive board of AASA, which is an association for all superintendents. It is the association for all superintendents across the United States, and really want to thank Dr. Eric Conti for sitting on that. That is not something that you easily get. You are voted into the executive committee, so thank you for representing Massachusetts, and thank you for also bringing all the good work of Burlington Public Schools to the rest of our colleagues and the superintendents across the United States. Thank you. That's what's going on right now in Burlington Public Schools.
Awesome. Thank you. And back to our agenda. Warrant articles. Who's presenting those? Bob?
Yes. Thank you.
Yep.
This is, what's in front of you tonight is an updated list that was presented at the last meeting. I've taken the liberty to reduce some items, not because I think they're invaluable, because there's not enough money to go around and support all of these. I believe that we're not pursuing the high school renovation, so that $333 million has been reduced. I have not received any feedback from the Burlington High School SBC committee, and I think, well, I haven't received any feedback that says we should pursue this, but I have received feedback that the $1.5 million placeholder was too much, so I reduced that. You'll see that bathroom renovations, electrical upgrades, and auditorium AV lighting upgrades, all of those were for the high school. So those requests right now are on hold. Again, these are just suggestions. If this committee has a different opinion, gladly we'll take that feedback. Again, there's some concern that maybe focusing on the high school or putting too much money into high school right now may be a different pathway than we want to pursue. So we're going to, again, if this committee supports it, only focus on critical needs. So you'll see that there is still a critical request for $685,000 for the high school. That is boiler replacement, boiler room repairs. And I want to be clear, it's not for boilers or boiler replacement. Inside of the boiler room, there are many, many systems, which include domestic hot water, which is part of the request that we're asking for in the 685. There's an air compression system that has multiple chambers that need to support all of the penthouses and thermostats in each room because it's an older system. So we need new air compressors. And then there's expansion tanks for the heat system because we need to be able to store and move hot water, right? So we need expansion tanks. And because these are older equipment, the risk of losing those presents a bigger problem that an emergency situation can't necessarily resolve. What I mean by that is that you can't really go to the store and procure these overnight and then put them in tomorrow. A lot of these equipments have a long lead time, some engineering details that go into them, and the work itself takes more than a few hours to do. So again, these would be high critical systems, and if they were to go down, that would impact this building in particular for multiple days or weeks at a time. So I really would stress that those are important. If I go all the way to the top, what I've added on this is a category called description. This is not what would go to town meeting and not what I can provide to you all. What would go to town meeting, which I have prepared already, is about a 135-page document that has actual quotes. It has backup materials. It has pictures where necessary. So if I look at the plumbing request, number 3, which is the first request, this is for a cooling tower at the middle school. You may remember that 2 years ago, there was an emergency situation where the chiller went down during the summer. Again, I need to stress when we talk about HVAC in a school or a building, it's not what we're talking about at your house where you may have one condenser in one unit. Just the chilling circuit alone in the middle school requires a chiller, about half a mile of pipe, and then a 20-foot cooling tower that sits up on the roof. Both of those, which were installed in 2004, are at the end of their useful life. There is an option to rebuild it, but that rebuilds the internal structure. It doesn't rebuild the external frame. The rebuild is about $350,000, and the replacement is about $500,000. I've taken the liberty to say that, given the structure's condition, that replacing it is a better choice than just trying to rebuild it. You all can provide feedback on that. The next one is the memorial generator. Some of you will say memorial is about 12 years old, 13 years old, and you're right. This particular generator is outside of warranty. We've had numerous service calls on that, and again, rebuilding a generator right now with the labor and the time being down is not the same value as just replacing it. It's something that we need for emergencies, so we think it's a better value to replace it than it is to just rebuild it. It is limping along right now, but it is something that we're concerned with. The next one is a value that the school committee had put forward for Francis Wyman in Pine Glen. That's the front vestibule. Last year, we did the request through town meeting, which was approved for the Francis Wyman. We are working diligently with the administration, the maintenance department, and architects. We believe we have a finalized design, and we're just finalizing the details of that design. We do expect some bids to go out, I would say maybe in the next month or two, with a target of summertime for the work, and then some work will be done in-house by our maintenance staff to reduce some costs. But The plan would be to pursue that for Pine Glen as well, too, as a Phase 1, Phase 2, and then that would put a secure vestibule in the front of Pine Glen. The next one is security camera updates. I'll be slightly vague because they're cameras. We have lots of cameras in all of our schools, and I don't really like to give the placements, but some you can see pretty easily. And then some that we're looking to replace, about 38 cameras across 3 different schools. Are older, and just because I say something is old doesn't mean that it's bad, but when we're talking technology, older isn't necessarily the strongest selling point of it. So when you have older cameras, that means you have limited visibility, you have limited pixelation, which means you have grainy images, you have worse conditions at night and low lights. So when you're talking 10, 12 years old in the camera world, it's time for an upgrade, and that's what we're looking to do. So this would be targeting Marshall Simons Memorial in Pine Glen. And then I think there's enough money left over for 3 additional cameras that we would like to use to add new cameras in places such as the high school and possibly the middle school. So the next one you'll see is for field upgrades. Last year, as part of our 10-year master plan for fields, we presented a bathroom, which was ultimately withdrawn from the warrant article request to this committee and also to Ways and Means. We committed to bringing back a study this year. So the request right now is for a study to look at bathroom facilities at the middle school specifically. That would look at an outdoor facility, look at the possibility of using the indoor bathrooms or creating new indoor bathrooms. It would give us price estimates for both scenarios. It would give us a general schematic, but not full bid documents. That would be something that we would have to pursue later on. But a general schematic, it would investigate conservation and utilities and things like that to make sure, you know, what the in-depth reality of putting a facility over there and having bathrooms at the middle school for exterior use would entail. As I mentioned earlier, the boiler room repairs. Next one is staff and BHS computer science PC replacements. Recently, we purchased MacBooks for most of our staff, but there's another component of PCs. Generally, we're all talking computers, but there's specific PC use. Specifically in administration, specifically in the business office, specifically in some of the computer science classrooms. So this is about 125 computers plus some carts plus some additional software. And really this is a kickstart. We typically try to replace computers in our operating budget, but the scope and scale sometimes we can't stay ahead of. So that's why you'll see a request like this, and then we'll typically try to build this into our operating budget for a replacement over time. The next one is a vehicle replacement. We do have 3 vehicles, not including the 2 passenger vans, 3 vehicles specific to our maintenance department. One of them is 2012 box van that we use for inter-building deliveries. That particular box truck has about 55,000 miles on it and is serviced by Central Maintenance, which is the town's highway division. This year was questionable on passing inspection, but it did. But the frame is really in question as to its longevity of life. There's picture backup support and a written support from Central Maintenance that the frame is rotting out and does not have the life expectancy of many years left of it, so that's definitely something that we use and want to get ahead of replacement on. The last one is a curriculum. I will look for Dr. Chen to make sure that I say this one correctly, but my understanding is that this is a grades 6 through 8 curriculum focus. This one is still in placeholder form, and we do believe that the number is less than that, but we're trying to finalize the end number. Everything else above that is specific and has been updated based upon the quotes. Some of the construction or most of the requests in front of you do have a 10% contingency added to that. So that is the total with any contingencies built into. In the backup material, it will list a quote, and then it will have a 10% contingency, and there will be a chart for each one specifically to note what the price is plus the contingency. But again, right now, the placeholder is just for the curriculum one, which we do expect to come down.
What was the guideline?
The guideline was $2,812,000.
I'm trying to remember where we landed in the building. I know I came and went in the high school building, but we were gonna try and get a quote, right, from TAPE. But maybe we submit that outside guideline. Yeah, I think this is a good, we're not voting on this today, right?
You are not voting on tonight unless you choose so, but again, feedback is welcome now or,
Yeah,
you know,
just got a
offline.
couple of questions,
course.
honestly. So prioritized list, I mean, I assume upgrades are priority over, I mean, none of these, some of these are nice to have-ish, but none of them are, you know, outside of stuff. But like if we have to prioritize and again, getting to that guideline, because I think we're going to be pretty close to held to it. So, you know, if we have to hold to that, you know, what is this a prioritized list, I guess is what I'm getting at, number one. And then number two, like, where were the cameras for the security, again, you're saying, for this one? Because we still have only 30% obligated for the 2020 warrant we had out for the high school. And I thought you mentioned the high school for some cameras here, so I don't know that we want to try to ask for money again if we haven't encumbered fully or obligated fully the funds we already have, and we're only 30% obligated. So I think we'd get some pushback there. And a couple other things, that just let you answer that before we get more into this.
First and foremost, thank you for that question. I'm glad you brought it up. So there is a request for $96,000, $96,800 for a facilities master plan. What this is in 2017, also in 2006, we paid an architect and MBE, which is a mechanical engineering plumbing firm, to come in and review all of our buildings, gives us a bird's eye view of what the current conditions are, and give us recommendations on what future planning looks like for those buildings. Right now, that document is approximately 10 years old. This is something that potentially, if you all decide to, that we could delay. This is something that could potentially be a future conversation, either with the town to look at a total facilities master plan. It could be something that we could look to reduce if we want to take the high school out of it. You know, there's some flexibility in this because, you know, we're aware of the equipment we have. What has happened, or what we will mostly see, is some recommendations that your equipment has gotten older and is in dire need to be replaced. Also, too, the price will go up. But I don't know necessarily that we'll find a lot of new hidden things that we didn't know about. So that's something where we potentially could reduce. It is a valuable tool to have, but that
I
definitely.
think I'm in favor of the facilities plan. I don't want to cut you off, but like, again, I think that would add some clarity to our conversations for the BHS SBC. Like, I'm fully in support of that. Like, I was really more questioning some of the security camera stuff and
Sure.
some of the smaller dollar items. And I think for the generator, just my own, because this is just the way my mind works, is, you know, did we do an analysis of alternatives, and then the replacement cost is lower than basically what we've spent over the last however many years, right? So there is a cost savings there by purchasing new versus, you know, just rebuilding, be it time or dollars.
So we have not spent in the 12 years the cost to replace it on maintenance. What's happened is in the past 5 years, we've spent about a third of the cost to replace it on maintenance. The thing is the downtime, which we can't put a dollar value on, is what the problem is.
Got it.
If I can circle back to the security cameras, if I misspoke, I want to repeat it in the correct terms, is that 38 of the 40-ish cameras that I'm asking for we're going to be at Memorial and Marshall Simons. And then the remainder, and I am fully aware that we have money, but there's a plan in earmark for the high school cameras already, so.
Makes sense, yeah. No, it's like that. I want to make sure we get those T's crossed, I's dotted, all that good stuff.
Thank you.
Do we know when we might know a better dollar for the curriculum?
Well, I think we're going to have a closer idea. We went with the more,
Yeah.
the more expensive one as a
Oh,
buffer.
okay.
As a buffer, but I think one of the things that we have to wait for is the parent night.
Okay.
We have to get, we're going to put out a survey for them, so I'm really hoping that sometime in middle March, we will have a very clear understanding of the direction that we will be going to. But for those who are interested, don't forget about the curriculum night. I'm going to say it over and over again so I can get as many parents so that they know what's going on, okay? To the middle school.
All right.
Through the chair, I have a question about the cameras. You mentioned we were 30% committed. Is that for cameras specifically or security upgrades? Is it specific to cameras or is it for other things as well? I want to make sure that I know, I don't remember the exact wording of the Warren article, so I want to make sure that we're clear on what we're talking about.
Similar wording, but specific to the high school. So it was cameras, installation, and camera licensing and software.
Okay.
But again, specific to cameras and security at the high school.
Okay, and this one is district-wide, so then, like you said, Memorial, Marshall-Simons, I know we've had some, at other schools too. I don't want to get too specific about where they are, but, so security upgrades versus this is a very specific article referencing cameras and not just general upgrades, right?
Yes, there's still a target, so I don't really want to deflect from what the target is. And like I said, Marshall-Simons and Memorial are the focus of this. But the fact is that with the high school one, we have a plan to spend, and we've already spent a majority of the request for it. And we knew that one was going to be a little bit of a longer plan just because it's a larger building. But on this particular one, again, and knowing that there is approximately 2 or 3 additional cameras if the money is available for us to do, I would like the flexibility of not having a separate warrant article for 2 or 3 cameras. But the majority, like I said, 38 of the 40 or 41 are for Memorial and Marshall-Simons.
And just as a follow-up, I think the choices were difficult, but I think you've presented the right ones. And I appreciate you putting 100 pages of backup together. I think town meeting will be really pleased about all the information and additional details that they'll get to see, and hopefully that'll make everyone feel comfortable and understand what's going on and, streamline the process. So, thank you.
And if I could just add, I will share that backup document with you all. Right now, there's still some fine tuning, and because there's some placeholders in there and some unknowns, I can share it as a draft, or if you give me another week or so and we have some more finalized details, and once it's been, double checked and triple checked, then we can share that with you all for feedback as well.
Good. In the interest of time, I'm going to keep us rolling. I have a quick Fox Hill School Building Committee update. The bids closed at 2 o'clock this afternoon, so we received some good bids. We're happy with the bids. The couple folks looked at them today. There is the project team is triple checking all of the requirements, et cetera, and then there's a school building committee meeting on the 24th, where we'll go through exactly what those look like, but very happy with how it's looking so far. Does anyone want to give a BHS? I was at the meeting, most of it. We had an open BHS building committee meeting 2 weeks ago now. Went through the requirements for the statement of interest in fine-tooth comb level of detail. Created some sub-working groups for different areas of the statement of interest. So really focusing on what we can do to get that statement of interest as polished as possible. One thing to highlight is that there was, I believe, 7 criteria for ability to submit a statement of interest, and 4 of them were enrollment related. So to reiterate, we are choosing to submit, I believe, on 3 different areas, but we are not really eligible to submit in the majority of the options for the statement of interest. But again, feel free to go back and watch that movie. the video for that one.
The episode.
The episode, yeah. And the last piece is, I think there's still open conversation on if in May we submit some further funding. We were calling it feasibility part 2. We would not have to redo a lot of the work that was done, so we can continue to move on. But if we are to do any sort of piecemeal renovation or smaller project or anything like that, we're going to need funding for the consultants, the project team, to continue working with us to address those. So more to come on that. Any other comments? Bob, do you want to do a facilities update? Anything there? No?
Again, just really with the snow work, I just wanted to compliment and give my praise to the custodians that put the efforts in to keep the buildings clean. Of course, the DPW and the rec department. This was just a tremendous amount of snow that we haven't seen in many years. So to get close to 2 feet and then a few days later to get hit with another 5 or 6 inches was really just a slap in everyone's face. Of course, it cost us 2 snow days, but I think that they were justified given, the sidewalks and the neighborhoods and just the amount of snow that everyone had to clear. Well, at least I have my fingers crossed that tonight really turns into that ½ inch instead of a few more inches that may have been predicted
As we sit here
earlier.
in this windowless room, I'm like afraid to walk out. Yeah.
So again, just thanks to the crews that kept the buildings clean and made it presentable to get back to school. So
Thank you.
for transportation, nothing new to add except that there was a water main break. A parent square message had gone out. Through building principals, through my office, really unpredictable, but it definitely caused some impact. Thanks to the DPW and Water Department for correcting it. It was a larger problem than even they had anticipated on a very cold day. So it took even through the afternoon dismissal time. Once that was complete, we were able to get traffic flowing again, but thankfully it only impacted buses by minutes instead of a longer time frame. But it's just this time of year, the weather's unpredictable, and we'll try to keep everybody as updated as possible.
Just one quick word too, if I could, to the chair. I'd like to give a shout out to the Marshall Simon staff too. I don't know if it's residual effects from the water main break or what, but they've been communicating out very proactively about bus situations and late buses leaving the school. So it's a very welcome thing to see, at least from my parent perspective. So I appreciate that. So if you can give them some kudos that they've been doing that and they've been doing that well.
We'll pass along. Thanks.
I know there's the water main break, but this week I think we also got late buses at the elementary school. So we're still tracking all of that, right?
We are tracking all of that.
Get our
yeah.
50 cents back? Okay.
Well, through the chair, I believe there was an accident also on Wynn Street that caused some late buses too throughout the district. And
Yeah.
I received communication about that too, so that's worth mentioning too. I think, like you said, there's been a lot of proactive communication, stuff that families have asked for over the years that the administration's delivering on. I think it deserves attention.
All right. Nicole sent out the financial update. It was in the packet. I didn't put it on the agenda. She has no concerns. Anyone have questions?
Just the one on the caveat, when do we expect that reimbursement to come in? Because again, it's going to be cleaned up by the grant funding. Is that just lagging based on state paying out or whatever? No, for the 205?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I think we've submitted for it. We're just waiting for reimbursement. As long as it's cleared up by June 30th, we're
We're good.
fine.
Okay, yeah, that's all I had. Thank you.
All right. Any new or old business? Yes?
So I wasn't present at the last meeting, but I did watch it, and I believe Mr. Brooks had some questions on after school.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you wanted to clarify those now so I could get you what you needed, or if
Yeah, we
you
can
want
do
to
that,
talk
or you can just send me
offline, or...
you can send me the data. Like I said, I just wanted to see the correlation on, enrollments and the cost drivers, right? Because I just wanted some more detail on, because again, over the last couple of years, we've voted in a couple cost increases. I just want to make sure that we're doing so appropriately and, being very mindful about the families that, patron these services may not have, lots of means, right? So we got to be very careful about it. So I just want to make sure we're going through those with a fine tooth comb.
Okay, so you want enrollments by location?
Just enrollments and then basically what the cost drivers are, right? So
Okay.
it was, I believe Ms. Haverty said that they had cost increases for salaries and some other things. I just wanted just some more detail around that, right? Or if operating
Okay.
costs have increased and, based in what areas. So
Okay.
just understanding it a
Okay,
little better.
I'll get you some more detail on that.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
All right, would you like to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned, thank you. Good luck getting home.